get started with our pre-council meeting. Opening prayer tonight will be by Pastor Barry Dunn of the First United Methodist Church. Pledge of allegiance will be done by Chief Turner. We'll approve minutes for January the 6th, 2020 regular council meeting. We'll approve tonight's agenda, January 21st, 2020. Public hearing, there will be none. We'll have reports from the standing committee. Proclamations, there are none. Reports of special committees, there's none. Report of status of city finances, there'll be none tonight. We'll report on that first meeting in February. Unfinished business. Unfinished business this time. I'd like for the representative of the Amadeus group to come up and go what's been proposed for the old main office and 16 acres out there. Don't jump all up all at once. Yeah, Andrew, please.
Well, good evening. My name is Andrew McGreer, and I'm a member of the Amadeus Development Group, which is a company that was created to develop new properties and new developments here in Alexander City and the greater Lake Martin area. And we have three partners other than myself. We have David Robinette here, who has moved here from Knoxville. I'm originally from Boston and moved down to Alabama in 1995, so we're kind of outsiders coming into this fine community, and we've enjoyed it here very much. Enough so that we're excited about what Alex City has to offer and what we want to bring to the city. I think we have a lot of fresh and new and exciting ideas, and we're going to share with you tonight what we've seen as a vision that didn't just come out of nowhere. And it's been something that was originally created, and the ideas, our other partner, James Dodwell, and Steve Fuller, and myself and David, back February it was, we're looking for a place for us to build a headquarters for our company. And we have a few companies that we do construction, residential and commercial construction. So we were looking for a place to put our headquarters, our office, and came across this piece of land and started to inquire about it. And eventually, to make a long story short, we got to the point where we understood that this beautiful building here with a lot of historical memories to it was going to be torn down. And we said, look, there's got to be a way that we could not let that happen and create what our vision is into something that could utilize and use that as a portion of our future. So what we did was, instead of building a building on the acreage, which you'll see our development plan, we're actually going to move our headquarters into this building. And I'm going to share with you tonight what our vision is. We're going to show you our architectural renderings so that you can actually see what we're going to do, and to educate you all that, you know, this is something that didn't just happen overnight. Last February is when this idea happened. We went through a lot of environmental studies. We went through architectural renderings. We went through feasibility studies. We looked at the building to determine its structural viability, all of the things that a developer has to do to make sure that this project is viable. Once we determined that that was viable, then we met with everybody from the city council and said, hey, here's our vision, what do you think? And through the previous mayor neighbors and certainly our current mayor, Mr. Spraggins, we've really come to a great conclusion. So that's what we're here to share with you tonight. So, of course, you all know where the location of it is. The development program, the next screen, Haley, it's hard to see it, but if you look here, this is where the current building is. And this is where the road is here. And what you're going to see on the following slides is the actual entrance of the building is going to be on the back side because there's no parking in the front. And so through the evaluation of that, we figured when we develop it, there'll be plenty of spaces. We'll have opportunities for businesses here, possible restaurant here, and all of this parking makes this all work. But our original goal was, when we pursued this, was this lane here. And this is where we were going to put our main headquarters, and then as I shared with you, the development went to putting our offices, which will be located right here. So that's just an overall overview of the project. David, in a little while, I'll bring him up here, and what he's going to share with you is his background by nature as a civil and professional engineer. He's done all the engineering on the project, and we've spoken to a lot of different businesses that are interested in coming to Alexander City. And these are businesses that will bring viable jobs, not minimum wage jobs. We're talking 12, 13, 14 dollar an hour jobs for the basic folks coming in the door. So we're looking at a lot of different opportunities. we're very close to closing a deal for that piece of property there for a new business. So we're aggressively pursuing this, of course, which creates jobs for Alexander City, revenues for Alexander City, and so we're excited about that. The next slide, we'll go over, as I shared with you, when David looked at this project and saw that there was limited parking in the front, and the parking that's currently here right now is not viable for the future because of some future expansions of the road and a potential, roundabout that's going to go here. So we put the parking in the back, and the next slide will show you kind of what the rendering of the building is going to look like, the architectural rendering. So this is where the old Mossy Oak space was, for you that know where that was. We're going to create a new storefront here opening. This is the current door that's here. We'll open up windows in the top. This is where there was a door there that was taken out for the firemen to practice on opening up the building, but this will be a grand main entrance. You can see we'll create new storefronts here for other businesses, add windows, with a potential restaurant there on the bottom right. And so there's an upstairs, downstairs, a banquet center possibility, which we're going to share with all that with you this evening. The next slide will show you one of the elevations. So that will take the architectural rendering and turn it into what the rendering will look like. Our space is going to be up here. We're going to occupy the second floor. Down here is going to be a plumbing supply company that will bring about 18 jobs to Alexander City, and they're going to have a showroom. The showroom will have a lighting, plumbing supplies, all kinds of things that are related to their plumbing business that they want to have a little retail center there. So this is the current door that's here. This will be the main entrance, and our office will be upstairs. As you can see, we put a lot of time, thought, and attention into this. We want this to be a showcase opportunity for downtown Alex City, keeping the historical nature of the building on the front, and you can see the expanded view on the back. The next slide is another view of that, so we'll have a couple of these slides for you so you can take a look. You can see nice, grand entranceways and places. This is, David will share this with you later when we get into the floor plan, but this is like a restaurant bistro situation on the far right-hand side of the building. If you're looking at it from the back, that's the southern elevation. The next slide will show a little bit further down to the restaurant that we're proposing and trying to recruit for. There you go. Nice little atrium. And then this is the end of the building. This is where we're going to be up in here, and then this will be where the plumbing supply company is. Now this is just going to be kind of a little quick movie for you, just to show you what we've done from a view from above, give you a little tour of the building, and so that you can see more of it just from the slides. So we'll be building these atriums out, adding the gable fronts to the glass enclosures. The parking lot's going to be extended to the side of the building. This is hopefully going to be a restaurant or bistro outside dining area with a water fountain there. You'll see that from this side a little bit better. So taking advantage of the historical architecture and adding a little bit of a modern flair to it really kind of gives you a nice little blend of the building. Years ago you couldn't do it, and the technology today allows us to really see some pretty interesting things. And then the front of the building will stay as you've all known it for years and years. We're hoping to get together with the folks from Russell so that their front atrium, which you'll see in just a moment, where you walk in the door, there's quite a good sized room there actually, which we're hoping to put some Russell memorabilia there, some pictures of the old Russell founders and such before you enter the building. So for historical purposes, we thought that would be kind of nice. But that gives you an overall flair of our thoughts and our vision for the building instead of having it torn down. I think it will be a great addition to the city. We're excited about it, and actually construction is going to happen pretty soon. So there you go. All right, next slide, David. So on the first floor plan, David, if you want to come up, I want to give David a shot because he's really spent exhaustive hours putting together the architectural and working with our architects with regard to this side of the building. This is the side where the plumbing supply retail area is going to be, but David spent a lot of time working on the possibilities for creating the restaurant area, and I'd love for him to share his thoughts with me on that.
Mayor, council, thank you for letting us come share our vision tonight. We spent many hours out building the interior of this whole building with no lights and no telling what you would run into, tents and lots of bedding, and it's been a lot of process. We've been working on it for almost a year now. This is kind of, sort of, exactly how it is today, with a few features. This is the entrance he was talking about we were at, and that's where the old glass storefront's laying out in the parking lot now. So, refocusing the rear of an 80-year-old building to be the front of our building's been a challenge and probably going to be quite expensive. This atrium coming in now is going to be our new lobby coming into the main part of the building. This is going to be our new elevator shaft. The old elevator does not meet any kind of code as far as egress to the outside of the building. It's buried inside the building, so we're going to have to pretty much get rid of a lot of the old features to that. So we have retail space down below for rent. This is where we got a plumbing supply coming in. We envision this to be hopefully like doctor's office, med spa, anything like that. The big focus I think Andrews want me to focus on is, if you're familiar with the old building, the north side of the building on the bottom floor is pretty much buried as a basement. It's got some windows that are in the upper part of the floor back there. So that being any kind of office space or retail space, we didn't figure that would work. So we envisioned turning it into a restaurant, burying back into the basement the freezers, the kitchen. As you saw on that slide, it showed a van pulled up to that end of the building right there. So basically all of the services for a restaurant will be buried back into the dungeon portion of it. And then we actually envision this being some kind of conference budget, or conference room where we could put tables and you could rent it out, sort of like the Mill 280 is now. But we would actually have a restaurant where we could cater it right there. These two additions shown here were the glass atriums coming off the front, which would be part of the restaurant. We did a fake facade out here with a covered walkway back into this deep portion of it here. A nice indoor, outdoor bar seating area. So it's just our vision. We don't plan on being restaurant people, all right? We're not going to be the operators. So we're just trying to come up with what can we do with this building, and this is our vision. So the next slide, banquet. This was our different configurations for our banquets. We could do just standalone seating for a speaker up front. We got different configuration of tabletops, seating up to 100 people and serving them. So that was just some of our initial thoughts on the building. It's a close-up of the restaurant. This is where I told you we're bringing in a covered walkway into the main waiting lobby room. Nice bar, seating area, also seating area here. We can seat a total of 214 in this configuration, plus 104 total in the banquet area. So probably about an 8,000 square foot footprint of a restaurant. This is just some interior perspectives that we've come up with inside the restaurant. That's the bar area I was talking about. Different views of it. All right.
Thanks, David. So the second floor is where this is where the Russell corporate offices were, And if any of you've been in this building, it's really fascinating. It's beautiful inside there. And our hope is to continue and expand upon the Innovation Center, which is currently in Alexander City. And they have limitations as to the types of people that can rent in those offices, whereas we don't. We have an opportunity to rent to whether it's real estate, medical, legal, a wide variety of people looking for startups, so that they can have an office with absolute state-of-the-art equipment. They can have conference rooms, they can have access to a secretary, they can have video conferencing, they're going to have data, they're going to have their own phone systems, so each office can operate independently of any other office that's there. And so it allows us to bring in a group, like this area here would make sense to have a small company in here, and then these individual offices would be for groups of people that are individual entrepreneurs or running small businesses and such like that. This allows for another space for that, where you have a smaller company that's looking for something but perhaps can't afford building a building and wants something that's state-of-the-art, and that they can't afford to put down $100,000 to update a building, whereas they can come into something that's finished and ready to lease. This side here is going to be our corporate office. This is where our residential and commercial construction companies are going to be located, so this is going to be our home. The next slide will show you our view, I believe, of what the interior is going to look like. That'll be our main entrance. And so this will give us an opportunity to kind of see what we've envisioned for the space. So as David said, this is where the plumbing supply company is going to be. This will be their office, their showroom and such. The elevator will be in the back corner to come to the upstairs. Nice glass atrium. Try to capitalize on a lot of the brick that's on the inside of the structure too. If you've all been in the building, there's a lot of brick in there. We'd like to kind of keep the look of that in place and keep the structure of the building the way it is, and just add a lot of accoutrements to it. This is where you come into our space upstairs. We're getting there eventually. Sorry about that. So this will be, as we go a little further, this will be our offices, our conference room. So we'll have our executive offices on the perimeter of the building, where the windows are. We'll have our secretarial desk. We'll have our accounting offices over in here. Very open, tall ceilings, beautifully done on the inside, as you can see, where we're going to be able to promote and meet with our clients and entertain our clients, and that'll be the base of our operations. So that'll be in the upper side of the building. Next slide. We'll show you from the entrance to coming into the front of the building, which is probably not going to be an accessible front of the building because there's no parking. They'll come in from the rear, but what it will do is to show you kind of our view of the offices that will be for like the entrepreneurial centers, where you come into the main offices. This is where we'd like to have the Russell memorabilia, a historical perspective of the building, and then you enter into the space itself, of which there'll be conference rooms, video conferencing. There's a lot of offices there. In that main area, there's 25 offices. And so each office is going to look similar to this. And then this back hallway here is where the corporate executives used to be, back in those really beautiful old offices back in there, which will be updated. And as you can see, that's where that location will be. So I hope that helps you to get a little bit of a vision as to some of the things that we're thinking. As you probably are watching this, you're thinking, my Lord, this isn't going to be done on a nickel. There's a major investment that's going to be required to make this dream come to a reality. So it's an investment of our company, it's an investment in our future, but it's an investment in the city as well. We have gotten overwhelming support, not only from the city council, but from small businesses and people who want to see this thing come to fruition and who are supporting us and helping to see the vision from the Entrepreneurial Center to the Innovation Center to the Chamber of Commerce. Because, for example, I think Jacob Meacham's here tonight, and we talked with Ed and Jacob a lot about, the limitations that they're full and they don't have any place to go to incubate a new company, and that's an opportunity for us to do. And so that's a vision that we're going to use and rectify that situation. So we're really having some great ideas for this. So you can see there's a significant investment in this. We're excited about it. So that'll give you a good flavor of the upstairs where all the innovative expansion center would be. The next slide, I believe, Haley, is that it? That's it, okay. So I think you can get a vision that this isn't something that happened overnight. We're excited about it. We wanted to share this with the community. And, you know, I don't mind if you have a couple quick questions. We'd be happy to take a couple quick questions. And if not, you know, if you need any further information, you can get a hold of anybody in the city council, or you can come up to us after the meeting. We're more than happy to talk to you about this and our vision. So I thank you for the time, and we look forward to doing this with you all. Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was wondering if you could go back to the main properties that you have.
Yeah.
And go back to the one place that you showed us and orient those of us who are familiar with the area.
Sure.
Exactly where that is.
Okay, so this main development, whoops, sorry. I think it's the next slide, Haley. Okay, so this here, I think for all of you, this is the old Russell Main building where the offices were, and the front entrance here. Here's where the railroad tracks are, and this is Lee Street right here.
Okay.
Okay, so this piece of property here is directly right on the corner. And this is, Al, is it Central Ave?
Central Boulevard.
Central Boulevard, the proposed future of the Central Boulevard. And I think the mayor and Al can expand upon that part later. But this particular property in and of itself was originally, as I had shared, going to be our corporate offices until we've incorporated it there. Our vision for this is we're actively talking to organizations and companies. We're really close with one organization that could bring about 180 jobs to Alexander City. So, you know, while people, you know, say, geez, that's a beautiful piece of land, the city's done a sweetheart deal, there's a lot of money coming in to develop this, and it's really good for Alex City. And so this particular property is a very good location for the expansion that's going to entice companies to want to come here. If it's back on some back road and some back corner, it's not going to work. They want to come where traffic is. They want to come where people can see them. They want to come where people are going to visit their establishments. You know, they're a for-profit business, and we want to make sure that they have a for-profit location. And so the development required to do this, the infrastructure to do this, is not pennies. It's hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars. And that's something that we're interested in doing. And our vision then was accepted by the city council for the bigger benefit. Does that help?
Yes, sir, that does. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hey, Barbara, that's also plants 3 and 4 were sitting at it at that time.
Right, when you said Lee Street, I was aware.
That's great. Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate the question.
Any other questions for Andrew while he's up here? Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew, for the opportunity.
Okay, then next thing will be, we're going to our new business. Item number 1 is resolution 2029, resolution to award bid 2006 egg grip hot mix patching to James Paving Company, LLC of Pelham, Alabama, in amount not to exceed $152,250. I'm gonna ask Gerard or Miles to come up and let us know what's going on there.
We got 3 bids on the patching. We were glad of that. We got, and this was the low bidder. We checked his references, and his references were stellar. Talked to several businesses that had done business with this guy, and they were really, really happy with him. So we're excited about getting him in here and getting started. Don't have any. We've got a list of patches that we'll work on. I don't have it with me, but it's just patching. It'll just be hot mix patching.
But it's basically all over the city.
Yes, all of it. Yeah, as it comes up, it'll either be in response to a utility cut, which is like the one on North Central, right there at Glen Haven. That's a utility cut, we'll hit that. But it could be in response to a utility cut, or it could just be somewhere that needs patching in preparation for paving it somewhere.
Any questions? All right, item number 2 is a resolution 2030. It's a resolution to declare personal property no longer needed for public use. And it's basically 2 vehicles that we have that we're looking to sell to the Coosa County Sheriff's Office. Miles, you want
Yes,
Yes, a couple of weeks ago, we were approached by the Coosa County Sheriff's Department. They were looking for a couple of vehicles just to purchase. At that time, we just had these 2 cars that were already set aside for sale on Gov Deals. And these are both police vehicles. One's a Crown Vic, one's a Tahoe. Now, both of these vehicles, they need some help. They need some love. They know that. Their mechanics looked them over. They're willing to offer $1,000 per vehicle. And they're really tight on their budget. And I think this is a result of some of their officers wrecking some of their vehicles, so they're tight. I think it's a good deal. We wouldn't get much more than this on Gov Deals, and we're helping out a fellow community. Questions for Miles? Miles? Item number 3, Resolution 2031 is a resolution to amend the FY 20 authorization list pertaining to the Sugar Creek wastewater treatment plant. Kathy, you want to come up and explain that to us?
Good evening.
Hey.
I'd like to also introduce, if you don't know, Lynn Miller, who is the new superintendent at Sugar Creek. Has been there now a couple of months.
As superintendent.
As superintendent,
Yes.
but as an employee there for
13 years.
I'll just say a few things about Lynn. We made a good choice moving Lynn into this role. He's already hit the ground running these couple of months and already made significant improvements at Sugar Creek and Coley and all that. He was the maintenance guy over all of it, and he's got some good ideas on how to move this forward. So look forward to working with Lynn in the coming years. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Mayor.
We're very fortunate and happy to have Lynn in this position. And as Mayor said, he's already been very aggressive getting on top of some things that needed addressing. And one of the things that he had spoken to Mayor and myself about was some reorganizing his staff a little bit to make the facility more efficient. One of the glaring shortcomings was the lack of maintenance staff. Lynn was previously over maintenance, and he was a one-man show. And there are Sugar Creek, Coley Creek, the Kellyton Industrial Park, and 21 lift stations that he was responsible for checking every day, repairing.
Repairing, maintenance, welding, placing motors, pumps. It's a lot to do.
So it was a very overwhelming job. And when there was major work to be done, he'd many times have to pull a plant operator off shift or call them in off shift to assist with maintenance things. So he felt like, and you chime in if I'm missing anything, that this would help us be more efficient. It should be more cost effective, reduce overtime, having to call people in.
Yeah, and one thing is when you pull somebody in, you have to make sure you got a certified operator. You can't just leave this plant with just anybody. So a lot of times we would pull in 2 people and then maybe pull a guy that's already on shift at Coley and split them people up. So we were cutting that staff short also. So this is something that we need as far as the city's benefit to get a preventive maintenance program going, so we can save some of these costs on our pumps and electrical. I mean, there's things we need to do as far as oil change. Just we need to get something going that's going to bring us all into the, everybody working together.
And the good news is that he's figured out a way to do this without adding to the budget. By reorganizing the staff, as you see in Exhibit A, of combining the previous lab manager into the lead plant operator. There had been a person who was just the lead plant operator, and then there was a person who was the lab manager. So combining these 2 slots frees up a slot, if you will, that we were going to utilize for this maintenance electrical person. The lab manager is someone who, of course, does all the testing. They're on top of things. They know when chemicals need to be added or low or that sort of thing. It's sort of a natural, they complement one another. The lead plant operator, having this knowledge, can pass it on to the operators. So we felt like that was a good combination. So we would be asking for the maintenance electrical person. As you can see there, there's no net head count. And the annual labor costs are pretty similar there.
We put a lot of thought into this because, we realize that the city is trying to make some improvements in the city as far as the main office and things going on. So we actually put a lot of thought into this. And by adding these two jobs, the lab tech and the lead operator, he's kind of on point with everybody now. Instead of you translating this message to somebody else, then you know how it is when somebody tells somebody something, you don't always get the same story. So that's going to cut a lot of that out. And by bringing the electrician in / maintenance, it's going to help us, save costs and help our department accomplish this goal.
Okay, any questions for Kathy or Lynn while they're up here? Basically, what we're doing is we're not really adding any positions, any number of people, we're
That's
just
right.
moving people around.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Okay, our fourth item is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a license agreement with a citizen for a covered bridge on Sylvan Road, which is actually not there yet, but Al's going to explain that to us.
We'll give you the background on it, and then Jan's got some information to show you and talk to you about. This bridge is something that has been in place since the 1980s. I remember it from when I was in high school, so I know it's been at least that long. The idea was it was on private property. That's the way it appeared. Recently, a huge tree limb fell on it, and Jan went out to tell them, you need to fix it. Once we got digging, we found out it's on a city right-of-way for a road that is not in existence, called Sylvan Road. This is off of Ridgeway. So our first take at this was, got to tear it down. It's on city property, and it provides no benefit to the city. The further we dug, the more that story changed. So I want to let Jan talk about that now.
I'm gonna get pictures. I only made two, so if I can share. As Al said, this is the covered bridge on Ridgeway. I think all of you are familiar with it. Most of you are. The more I dug, the road, Sylvan Road, it's the road in question, it's where the covered bridge is. That's never been constructed. Like Al said, we thought it was private property, but it seems that it's not. The bridge is actually, if you look in one of the photos, you'll actually see that the bridge is actually covering two pipes. One of the pipes is one of our large sewer lines, the other one is a large water line. It has steel beams that if the bridge had not been there, it would have not both our pipes. So this is a main reason that I believe we want to lease the bridge and keep the bridge. It's also her only access from Ridgeway to her mailbox. If the bridge was not there, she wouldn't be able, because there's a creek, she would have to go down into the creek to get to her mailbox if she was walking. Because her driveway actually comes off of Old Kellerton Road.
The lease is written, obviously, with our water line and our sewer line running under that bridge, the lease is written where if we ever have to go in there, we go in there, we take the bridge out, we fix our water line and our sewer line, and the property owner, if he or she wants to put it back, puts it back at their own expense. We do have to maintain the right to be able to tear that out to fix what's there. But right now, it is literally protecting that water and sewer line because it's been at least twice that huge limbs have fallen on that covered bridge that would have broken the pipe without a doubt. So we are being provided some benefit in that those pipes are being protected by that bridge.
Let me ask this, Al. Say we do this lease agreement, are they gonna maintain the covered bridge? They gonna repair it?
It will have to be maintained.
They will maintain and make any repairs necessary.
She has somebody right now waiting to repair the bridge.
Okay.
And that's how code enforcement got involved to start with, because it was not maintained to the standard, and she went to say, make it right, and then we found out, wait a minute, that's on our property. So, it kind of turned into a big mess, but I think the way it's working out is to a benefit to the city, in that our pipes are protected until we need to get to it.
And you can see in one of the pictures, she had already had someone come out and start the repairs before all this.
And often they like I said,
Any more questions?
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
it's a lot, 89 of these is a license agreement, so you can see that, even at the top of that. Because we asked Harper the same thing, he said it's none of these, it's really the license agreement.
Okay. Item number 5 is a request to approve the 4th annual Stop the Violence Picnic on April 11th, 2020 at the Cooper Rec Center. And I believe David Lee is here. You want to tell us what that's all about, David? I know we've had it the last 3 years, so.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Wyckoff, and I'm originally from Mississippi. I'm in a Mason Lodge down in Opelika, brought to Lodge 173. I came tonight with permission to host the 4th annual Stop the Violence program at the Cooper Community Center.
Okay. Questions? The motion is going to be to approve the event, but not the $4,000 that David's requested.
And we can't fund it just because on the appropriations, it has come in at the budget. Make sure.
Okay.
Any other question?
I appreciate y'all doing it. I know it's always a big turnout.
Always. Main thing we focus on the kids. Kids are our future.
That is the future.
We help feed the kids.
Yes, we feed them. We got games. We set it up as like a carnival. They can come down and they can each little session don't cost them that. We get toys. We have motivational speakers that come out. In the past, we had talked to Chief Jay Turner. I talked to Shad Babbitt. They always be there. And this year, we're trying to put together some type of program to start buying guns off the streets too. So we have motivational speakers that be there to come out and talk to the kids. Also.
Appreciate y'all.
And anybody's welcome, they don't have to be in that community.
No, everybody welcome. Everybody. The whole city of done the city.
Okay, the one thing that we can do on that, David, is I know you requested that we waive the fee, and I think we can agree to that. We've done that before. Put that in the same motion to approve the funding and waive the fee. Okay? Thank you, David.
No question.
Thank you.
Okay, this time we'll go ahead and move into our regular council meeting. I'm going to ask Pastor Barry Dunn to come up and lead some prayer, and then Chief Turner to lead some pledge of allegiance.
Mayor and Council, thank you for inviting me to be here, and all the wonderful citizens too that are here. Let's pray together. Almighty God, King of heaven and earth, and our Heavenly Father, you are the fountain source of all true wisdom. And so, O Lord, we do well to call upon you to guide us and direct us. And so we ask you humbly, O Lord, to be in these proceedings. Lord, to be with those who are called to serve our city at this time, who exercise the responsibility and duty of creating an environment for our welfare and the flourishing of our neighbors. I pray that we begin, O Lord, by acknowledging your sovereign power and our brokenness and sinfulness. And so with humble acknowledgement of our and their limits, and with one eye on you and another toward our neighbor, may this council promote your goodness and our welfare. Give each member and the people of our city a spirit of truth and wisdom and courage and sympathy and true godliness. And we ask all of these things in the name of your holy and only begotten Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this time we need to approve minutes for January 6th, 2020 regular council meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Make a motion to approve the January 6th regular council meeting as presented.
We've got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Councilman Tapley?
Yay.
Councilwoman Colvin?
Yay.
Councilman Hardy?
Yay.
Councilman Eric Brown?
Yay.
Councilman Chris Brown?
Yay.
Yay for me. All right, we'll need to approve tonight's agenda for January 21st, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
Got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Councilman Tapley?
Yay.
Councilwoman Colvin?
Yay.
Councilman Hardy?
Yay.
Councilman Eric Brown?
Yay.
Councilman Chris Brown?
Yay.
Yay for me. Public hearing, there is none. Reports from standing committee, as far as the finance committee chairman, we did have our work session this afternoon at 4 o'clock and to discuss the 2017 audit. And Sandy's going to give us an update on that when we get around to her, so I won't steal her thunder, but that's my report. Public Safety Committee, Chairperson Tapley.
No report.
Utilities Committee, Chairperson Chris Brown.
Just want to thank the Utilities Department, Fire Department. We had a lot of outages in the storms a few weeks ago, and then over this past weekend out on 280, those guys were quick to get at it and get it fixed. So just want to thank them.
Chris. Parks and Rec, Chairperson Hardy.
No report.
Public Works Committee, Chairperson Eric Brown.
No report.
Buildings and Properties, Chairperson Buff Cole.
No report.
Okay, proclamations, there's none. Reports from standing committee, there's none. Unfinished business, we've already covered that. Let's go into our new business.
Resolution, excuse me, 2029, a resolution to award bid 20-06, A-Crip Hot Mix Patching to James Paving Company, LLC of Pelham, Alabama, for an amount not to exceed $152,250 even.
We have a motion to approve the resolution as written.
Make a motion to approve the resolution as written on the hot mix patching.
Got a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion?
We just need three people to respond on the acre paving would be really nice.
Roll call vote, Councilman Tapley.
Yay.
Councilwoman Colvin.
Yay.
Councilman Hardy.
Yay.
Councilman Eric Brown.
Yay.
Councilman Chris Brown.
Yay.
Yay for me. Item number 2.
Resolution 20-30, a resolution to declare personal property no longer needed for public use and sell property to the Coosa County Sheriff's Office.
We have a motion to approve the resolution as written.
Make a motion to approve the resolution as written.
Got a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion?
I just appreciate the work on this. I always believe we should help our neighbors when possible.
call vote. Councilman Tapley?
Yay.
Councilwoman Colvin?
Yay.
Councilman Hardy?
Yay.
Councilman Eric Brown?
Yay.
Councilman Chris Brown?
Yay.
Yay for me. Item number 3.
Resolution 20-31, a resolution to amend the FY 20 authorization list pertaining to the Sugar Creek wastewater treatment department.
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution as written?
Make a motion we approve the resolution as written.
Got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just thank the work of the sewer department, what y'all have done, and I think I noticed it was a $700 savings. If I looked at it correctly, so that's even better. Thank y'all. So, keep up the good work.
Roll call vote. Councilman Tapley?
Yay.
Councilwoman Colvin?
Yay.
Councilman Hardy?
Yay.
Councilman Eric Brown?
Yay.
Councilman Chris Brown?
Yay.
Yay for me. Item number 4.
Resolution 20-32, a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a license agreement with a citizen for a covered bridge on Sullivan Road.
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution as written?
Make a motion to approve the resolution as written.
Got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Councilman Tapley?
Yay.
Councilwoman Colvin?
Yay.
Councilman Hardy?
Yay.
Councilman Eric Brown?
Yay.
Councilman Chris Brown?
Yay.
Yay for me. Item number 5.
A request to approve the 4th annual Stop the Violence picnic on April the 11th, 2020 at the Cooper Rec Center.
We have a motion to approve the event, but not the funding, and to waive the fee.
So moved as written.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just like to thank David Lee and his group for everything they do. I've been to their program several times. It's always a great turnout. And they're truly about helping kids and trying to stop violence and support the kids that's in need with a lot of programs they do. So thank you for your group.
Just say in regards to the funding, we have our budget hearing starting in August, September, sometime in that time frame. So that would be the time to submit the submission.
Especially since we voted no on any new money coming
Roll call vote. Councilman Tapley?
Yay.
Councilwoman Colvin?
Yay.
Councilman Hardy?
Yay.
Councilman Eric Brown?
in. Yay.
Councilman Chris Brown?
Yay.
Yay for me. Comments from our mayor?
I'll start off by just thanking the people attending tonight. It's great to see a crowd like this, and I think they all came to hear Andrew and James, and well, James didn't talk, but James sat down there and he gave us okay. But Andrew and David and James and Steve want to thank the Amadeus group for what they're doing, what they're investing in our community, and leaders in our community to step forward like this and really help Alexander City. So we're looking forward to that. Again, thank you for being here, everyone that came tonight. I want to mention one thing. Our city council saw something on their agenda tonight. It's a new logo. Alexander City, we have a new logo, a branding that we're calling for just the city and all the different departments in our city, sports and rec, and the golf course, everything really, public works, utilities. We worked, a Main Street organization initiated this several months ago. They brought a group in here, y'all may have seen it in the paper back probably this summer, and a group they brought in here that had ideas on rebranding Alexander City. And they were working with Main Street, so Main Street invited us to the table along with the Chamber of Commerce and the Tourism Association. So we all partnered together, and we worked with this team, and we've all chosen a common branding strategy for our community to help Alexander City move forward in all these areas with common branding. Now, the brand is not, the logo is not going to be the same for everybody, but the color scheme, the font scheme, and those kind of things. But anyway, it looks good. We've already done some stuff on social media. Chamber of Commerce has. I know Jacob's out there. They've done some things already publicizing theirs. But we're going to have a community blast off with this thing. Give us some time. It may be another 6 or 8 weeks away, but you'll see a big communication thing. We'll get with the Outlook. They'll be there, of course. But we're not ready to announce everything yet. But we're starting to see some things from us. And our logo, it looks like a sort of a diamond shape to it. The color scheme is blue and dark blue and light blue. but it's the image of the roof of our new municipal complex from above. That's the image we chose to represent Alexander City. So just to let you know that. That's all I had.
Thank you, Mayor. Comments from my finance director?
Well, I was pleased to have us meet at 4 o'clock for the council to hear the results of the FY17 audit. Next meeting, we'll have the resolution ready to accept that audit, and that was finished, but we're well into the next one and hope it will be a lot sooner than the last one. A lot going on behind the scenes.
Thanks, Sandy. Comments from the city clerk? Comments from the council. Councilperson Tadley?
Appreciate everybody coming out tonight, and Amadeus group, appreciate what y'all doing. I like the vision, I like the things, possibility of 12, 14, $16 an hour jobs. It's something that this city really needs to help those in need. Just pray that y'all prosper, because y'all prosper means the city's gonna prosper. And so we look forward to having new jobs coming here. Just hope everybody continues to do well, good health, and just continue to put God first in your life, and you do that, everything else will come out the way it should. So thank y'all.
Bobby. Councilwoman Colvin?
Thank you.
Parade as well as the meeting yesterday, so the celebration at Steve. So I just thank them for their work, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Scott. Councilman Eric Brown?
Once again, thank you, everybody. I want to say something tonight. I was wanting to say the first meeting of the year, but the executive session kind of emptied the room. I'm glad we have such a good crowd to come see what the Amadeus group is willing to take the risk and invest in our community. But what I wanted to say is that the New Year's resolution for the city, for all of us, it's easy to spot negative, and if negative is all you look for, negative is all you will ever see. To take, if something is in front of you that appears to be negative, view as an opportunity for you to go toward that and take a negative to a positive, because you're the one seeing it. You put forth the effort to go, and there's tons of people in this community that will get behind any effort that will improve this community. Like Buffy said, we're all available. There's not one person here that is not willing to speak and answer your questions. And if we don't know the answer, we will definitely get the answer, because we want Alex City to be better. And I know people said there's not much transparency. The citizens don't know enough. It's kind of hard to tell everything. If there's anything you want to know, I beg you to come to us. And we will gladly tell you. There are zero secrets. Obviously, unless there's some businesses that are out there that it has to be a secret. There are times, so I guess there are secrets. But as a whole, there's no real secrets. But I would love for everybody in this community to make it a positive effort to invest in the community, like Amadeus Group, like David Lee and his group, the men back there in the rows, the MLK. If you've never been to that event, the prayer breakfast is the only one I was able to make because I had to work yesterday. Great event. A very uplifting event. Great food, great fellowship. So, moving forward this year, if you see something you don't like, don't get on social media and talk about it and badmouth people until you dig in and find out the information. It is all available to everybody. All you have to do is ask. We want Alex City to take off, because we are this close to really moving forward. So just thank you all for coming. We'd love to have a group like this every week, but at the same time, I don't blame you, because most meetings are pretty boring. Thank you.
Hey, Eric. Councilman Chris Brown.
Just thank everybody for coming out tonight. I'm excited about the new development. I'm going to continue to look forward to bringing future developments and grow our economics here and obviously bring stability to our city. So, again, thanks for everybody coming out.
Thank you, Chris. I'll just echo what everybody else is saying. Looks like 2020 is going to be an exciting year. Got a lot going on. And hopefully all those things are going to happen this year. With that being said, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned.